Repulsive.
Welcome to your station 1999K Radio, where the dead speak. Good evening, night walkers, YouTube explorers, and brave listeners. Welcome back to 1999K Radio. My name is Sebastian, and tonight I'll be your host. Thank you for being here on a new broadcast of this, your midnight program. Today, we have a good show for you guys. This evening, February 19, 2024, we start transmission. Tell me, how was your week? This week I was able to watch The House of the Devil from 2009. This movie is curious. It's very calm. I don't think it's slow. It's just like that. Like they're trying to build some tension. It has a great 80s aesthetic. I can say I like it, but it didn't fascinate me. It was written and directed by Ty West, who also made movies like X and Pearl. I will ask you guys to watch the trailer that I'm gonna leave in the description and tell me what do you think about it. I also watched The Grandmother from 2021, directed by Paco Plaza, who brought us awesome movies like Rec and Veronica. A very good Spanish horror movie. The truth is that this movie, rather than leaving you with a twist at the end, it explains everything that is about to happen at the very beginning, and it just causes you anxiety to see how it unfolds. I highly recommend it, and I will also leave the trailer for this one in the description. Now, let's quickly move through the birthdays of this week. On February 12th, we had several good movies that premiered in theaters. In 1931, we had Dracula, starring by the legendary Bela Lugosi. In 1954, The Creature from the Black Lagoon came out, with Ben Chapman as the creature on land and Rico Boning as the creature underwater. And finally, in 1932, the cult classic Freaks hit theater, a movie that honestly couldn't be made today, and it is legendary among horror fans. On February 13th, 2009, we saw the release of the Friday the 13th reboot, which, except for the ending, I feel it was a very good Friday the 13th movie. It's very fun, and Derek Mears as Jason does a very, very good job. On February 14th, Happy Valentine's Day, but also happy birthday to Simon Pegg, a great actor, comedian, and writer of gems like Shaun of the Dead. Happy birthday, Simon Pegg. And also on February 14th, but in 1962, The Day Mars Invited Earth hit theaters. It's a very entertaining black and white horror and science fiction film. On February 15, 2007, we saw the release of Diary of the Dead, written and directed by the master George A. Romero. And it is also a Noah Squidward Day for all the SpongeBob fans out there. So don't forget it this year. On February 16th, 1957, we saw the release of a movie that is in my top 10 favorite horror films, The Seventh Seal. It's a Swedish film that tells the story of a knight from the Crusades era and the death. In 1990, Nightbreed was released. This movie is based on a novel by Clive Barker, and we also celebrate the birthday of Rico Browning, who, as I already mentioned, brought the underwater creature to life in the 1954 film The Creature from the Black Lagoon. So happy birthday, Rico Browning. On February 17th, 1959, we saw the release of House of a Haunted Hill, with the master Vincent Price as Frederick Lauren. And finally, but not less important, on February 18th, we celebrate the birthday of Jack Palance, born in 1990. He is recognized for playing Dracula in the television adaptation of Bram Stoker and for being the host of amazing series like Ripley's Believe It or Not. As you guys can see, it was a very busy week. Remember, I post on my Instagram to commemorate these great movies and celebrate the birthdays. Alright, now let's move on to the main topic of this episode. This journey has been long, I know, but don't give up. We still have a way to go. Our journey through the underworlds of different religions will take us this time to China and Japan. On this occasion, we will get to know the great Judge Yan Luo Wang of China and His Majesty the King Mao, ruler of the underworld in Japan. This is the fourth installment of our journey through the underworlds and their rulers. Please, don't forget to leave your shoes at the entrance to avoid bringing street dirt inside the realms of our hosts. Let's begin. In Buddhism, there are two main deities who will welcome you in the underworld. In China, it is the great Judge Yan Luo Wang. In Japan, it is the great King Mao. In China, the underworld is known as Diyu. This is a place full of judges, queues, and booths. That's right, the Chinese hell is like a government office. No kidding on that one. As I mentioned it, the king of Diyu is King Yan Luo Wang, also known as Yama or King Yama, which is similar to Hinduism. He is the one who, after the trials that await you, will decide your fate. Unlike in other religions, you can only reach Diyu through death. In here, the hell is divided in 10 circles and 7 chambers, and the 10 circles are: first, Chen Wang. It is the first circle. Your entry record into the next life and your initial path to follow in the underworld will be recorded. The second circle is Diyu. In this circle, you will arrive at a court where your actions are reviewed and noted in the book of the living and the dead. The third circle, you will present yourself to the Judge Yan Luo Wang himself, he who rules the underworld, and will indicate which circles you need to proceed for your judgment of your actions. The fourth circle, it's a court. It's called Bian Chen. The souls in this serene court are judged for their integrity and honesty in life. Those who were dishonest or liars face their punishments. The fifth circle is the Touyang. This court deals with cases of premature death, abortions, and the passing of infants. It determines the fate of souls who died young. The sixth circle, it's called Dushi. In this court, you will be judged for your professional actions and social roles. It will be assessed whether you fulfill your roles as a professional and individual. In the seventh circle, the court is called Zhoudian. This court will judge your most secret crimes. The eighth circle, Pingdeng, it's a court that will weigh all your actions and determine a fair outcome. All your good and bad deeds are considered here. The ninth circle is called Xuanlun. In this court, the circle of reincarnation is decided. It is determined whether you will reincarnate and under what circumstances. And finally, the 10th circle is called Denchi. In this court of the mountain lamps, the severity of your tortures or the pleasures that you will get are defined, and you will get your final sentence. Once you have been judged and your sentence determined, you will be assigned to one of the following chambers. The first is the chamber of tongue ripping, reserved for those who have committed defamation or verbal offenses during their lives. Souls in this chamber have their tongues ripped out and stretched as punishment for their malicious speech. The second chamber, the chamber of Knife Mountain, reserved for those individuals who have committed violence acts or murder. Souls in this chamber are subject to being cut by sharp blades or forced to climb mountains of knives. The third chamber the chamber of boiling cauldron, reserved for those who have engaged in deceit, fraud, or betrayal. Souls in this chamber are boiled in cauldrons or pots of oil or hot water as punishment for their treachery. The fourth chamber, the chamber of ice and snow, is reserved for the souls who have been ungrateful, cruel, or disobedient. Souls in this chamber endure freezing temperatures and icy winds, symbolizing the coldness of their hearts. The fifth chamber, the chamber of hungry ghosts, reserved for those who have indulged in greed, gluttony, or selfishness. Souls in this chamber are tormented by insatiable hunger and thirst, forever longing for what they can never have. The sixth chamber, the chamber of lust and desire, reserved for individuals who have excessively indulged in sensual pleasures or committed improper sexual conduct. Souls in this chamber are subject to various forms of temptation and torment related to their desires, never able to attain them. And finally, the seventh chamber, the chamber of endless suffering, reserved for the most hideous sinners, such as murderers, traitors, and those who have committed great offenses against humanity. Souls in this chamber endure eternal suffering with no hope of redemption or escape. Now, let's travel a little further east. Let's go to Japan. In Japan, the king of hell of the underworld is Enmao. Enmao is the deity associated with the otherworld and the judge of souls. He is usually known as the king of hell or the judge of the dead. When one dies, they are brought before Enmao, and he will decide your fate according to your actions in life. He will decide whether you go to heaven, hell, or if you will reincarnate. He is depicted with a terrifying and unsettling face. He is often accompanied by Onis, an Oni being a creature similar to a demon, though the more common translation is the word ogre, and also by Kanon, who is a deity that intercedes to mitigate the severity of judgments. It is also said that he presides over the 10 judges of hell. These 10 judges will decide your punishment according to your place in hell, similar to the Chinese hell. The Japanese hell is called Jingoku. It's not a specific place, but an area where one exists. And the Jingoku is divided into 7 circles. The first circle is the 8 burning hells, Hachi Jingoku. These are realms where souls suffer from intense heat. Punishments include being boiled in oil or burning in fire pits. The idea is that these types of punishment are particularly for sins to be expiated so that you can reincarnate. The second hell is the reincarnation hell, Sokushinbotsu-do. This hell is associated with self-mummification. In this hell, you will remain motionless, suffering from thirst and hunger until your body dries out and mummifies. It is similar to the Buddhist monks who sacrifice themselves over years by performing this ritual. The third hell is the hungry ghost hell, Gakito. In this hell, you will suffer from hunger and thirst that you can never satisfy. Souls sentenced to this hell arrive here for being greedy or selfish. It is said that these hungry spirits are condemned to wander seeking food and water, but they only find disappointment and emptiness. The fourth hell is called the beast hell, Chikshu-do. In this hell, you will be reborn as an animal, experiencing the brutality of survival as a wild animal. Souls that arrive in this hell were incompetent, greedy, and aggressive, like animals. So they will live as prey until they are devoured and reborn as another animal to experience the same feelings all over again. The fifth hell, it's called the Hell of Ashura. Ashura Do. Ashuras are beings driven by anger and destruction. They love war and seek to resolve everything with violence. Souls in this hell will live under constant threat of violence and war, never able to rest, where everything is resolved with fights. If in life a soul was aggressive, jealous, or proud, they will have to fight all the time without rest with Ashuras and other souls like them, without knowing rest or happiness. The sixth hell, the Blood Hell, Gokumondo. In this hell, souls will receive punishment involving rivers of boiled blood. The rivers reflect the consequences of violence and bloodshed in their lives. Souls in this realm are here for committing crimes related to hate and cruelty. And finally, the seventh Japanese hell, the Resentment Hell, Naraka-do. Souls in this realm experience perpetual suffering. They are punished with extreme heat or cold, may be mutilated, or endure other unimaginable penitences of pain. Souls that reach these circles are the worst. Those who committed the worst actions driven by hatred, ignorance, or greed. A curious fact is that within Hinduism and Buddhism, residency in hell is temporary until you purify yourself through punishment and pain. Afterward, you can return to earth to continue your learning. But well, that's how we end this week's episode. Before I go, I want to remind you that if you're an artist of horror or mystery related things, I invite you to leave your social media in the comments so I can see your work. I would love to see new perspectives related to horror and share them with others. I'll leave my Instagram in the comments in case you want to chat a little bit. And I'll be here next Monday with all of you. I'll also leave the link of my friend Dead Gun Showtime in the description in case you like Twitch. He's currently playing Battlefield 5 and will be presenting Dragon's Dogma 2 as soon as it comes out. Don't forget that this episode will be uploaded in Spanish too, in case you have a friend who doesn't speak English but you want to share this show with him. Thanks to Repulsive for the music that accompanied this episode. And thank you for tuning into 1999K Radio. Have a peaceful and chilly night, and remember that the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. Good night.